I'll call to order the regular council meeting Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024 at 7 p.m. We'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the traditional territories of the Indigenous peoples of the Treaty 7 territory and the Otipemisiwak Métis Government District 4. We respect the histories, languages, and cultures of the First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all First Peoples of Canada, whose presence continues to enrich our community. And just before we get into the rest of the agenda, I do want to just say a couple words about Green Shirt Day next week and the Logan Boulet effect. Give me 1 second. So on April 6th, we solemnly remember the Humboldt Broncos tragedy, day etched in Canadian history. Among those lost was Logan Boulet, whose legacy lives on through the Logan Boulet effect. Logan's decision to become an organ donor sparked a movement inspiring thousands to register. Today, we honor his memory and the lives saved through his selflessness. As we reflect on this anniversary, let's not remember the lives lost, but also celebrate the gift of life. Organ donation is a powerful act of compassion, offering hope and healing to those in need. Let's continue to raise awareness and encourage others to register as donors, encouraging that even in the face of tragedy, there is an opportunity for life to triumph. So just a reminder to everybody, if you haven't done so, you know, my family and I have become organ donors. It's a choice for you. And if something does happen, we can help save lives of others. Thank you.
You're the chair.
Go ahead.
You can also actually be a living donor as well.
And thank you. You're proof for that. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, moving on. Agenda 2.1, the agenda, April 2nd, 2024. Can I get a motion if there are no changes?
Through the chair.
Councillor Vang.
I'll make a motion that the agenda be accepted as prepared.
All in favor? Motion carried. Item 3.1, March 19th, 2024, regular council meetings. Are there any changes to those? If there are no changes, can I get a motion?
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
I make the motion that the minutes of the March 19th, 2024 regular council meeting be accepted as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, delegations. Crossfield Hamper Program. Cheryl Holstein and Angela Wigglesworth. Come on up front by the microphone here. Let's see what you ladies have brewing.
Oh. Thank you so much to the council for having us. We're really, really honored to be here. So we have for many years been hoping to have a food bank running for the past 30 years across the fire department. With huge success. In 1994, they did 12 campers. This past year, so a big increase. But the one thing we found consistently over the years of doing the campers is that Crossfield residents want it year-round. There's some restrictions with Airbnb. One of the restrictions, transportation, the cost of gas, feeling that your own community is taking care of it. So with that, we have proceeded, and since January, we have been running the Crossfield and Madden camper program. Madden has been big. We are shocked every month with how many campers we are doing a consultation with the Airdrie Food Bank. So we meet with them regularly. We're following their model because at this time, for the month of March, we did 24. We already 17 in January, 22 in February. The way we have the app set up right now, they phone. I take in all phone calls, I do intake phone call, and then we do pick up campers to the old library, but we now call it campers.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
That's perfect. Oh, now I'm under pressure. Thanks. Sorry. That's okay, Lindsay. All right. So what I was saying is that we've done, since January, we have been doing a full hamper program. I actually do online teaching, so you'd think I'd be better at it. We did, like I said, we did 17 in January, 22 in February. We did 24 in March. What happens is our residents will phone us and I then take the information. And from that information, they do pick up at what is the old library. We now call it Hamper Headquarters. And that's sort of where we're at this point. I mean, we're going forward. We have lots of ideas, a lot of fundraising ideas. We're in the process of creating our own nonprofit society. We have our first official board meeting on April 11th. And then we will start processing those papers. A nonprofit allows us to apply for more grants and more funding. I don't know, Ange.
For each of the hampers that we prepare, the cost is roughly $300. That is an entire month of food, of non-perishable items. We've had the very good fortune to have a donation from a local farmer recently of about 300 pounds of frozen ground beef. He was very kind and went through the whole process of ensuring that it was appropriate for the standards that Canada Food Bank set out. So had it certified, paid for all of that, and donated the meat to us. So we've been able to give out frozen ground beef as well. And we are working on a deal with Cobb's Bread to get their leftovers on a weekly basis. But we've also had the good fortune of having the Crossfield United Church start a bread program, which we're very thankful for. They have been supplying bread to any community members that want it every second week. And they also are giving us all of the bread leftovers. So we're able to give out frozen bread as well. So we're very pleased that we've been able to give out really, really hefty and good hampers that supply roughly 4 weeks of food. And again, that is about $300 per hamper. So doing the math on that, it's we spend a lot of money every month. We work very hard to shop economically. We look for sales. We're reaching out to organizations like Cisco so we can get some wholesale pricing. But those do take time. And some of the requirements are that we are a nonprofit. So hence we are working hard to get our paperwork in order and get that completed as soon as possible. Canada Food Banks, in order for us to be a member of Canada Food Banks, they require that we are a full nonprofit society for 1 full year before we apply. So once our paperwork is submitted and approved, we have to go through an entire 365-day period before we can apply to the Canada Food Banks to be a member. Once we are a member, that gives us the opportunity to access some of the food that they have, which is no cost to us. So that will make a substantial difference financially. In the hampers, all hamper recipients receive the month of food. In addition to that, they also receive a gift card currently to Big Way or Chamberbucks. Yeah, and it's based, the amount is based on the size of the family. So we have a formula for it and we follow that. And we do give out pet food when we have it, kitty litter. We have found, and statistics find, that people feed their pets first and then they feed themselves. So we are trying to get pet food when we can. The Airdrie Food Bank has been kind enough. We will be picking up pet food from them tomorrow, and has also been kind enough to provide us with a lot of shelving for the food hamper program. So we are able to really lay out food well. We follow all of our AHS guidelines, and one of the things was to have food on appropriate shelving off the floor, of course, which we adhere to strictly. And we have been gifted with a freezer. So that was very kind of, again, the local farmer who donated all of the food to us, all of the beef, also donated the freezer to put it in. So the community is really coming together and has had a tremendous impact and is really, really working hard to support us. And so consequently, we are trying to build connections with the community as well.
We have also been inspected by Alberta Health Services. We were inspected about a month ago when we passed, so that was yay. All we had to do was put freezer thermometers in, which we've done. We also have had, I just want to speak to the incredible volunteers that we've had and the community volunteers that have come out, including town council came out at Christmas. But we've had 4-H clubs, we've had youth groups, we've had farmers market. So it's really, you know, aside from the youth leadership program from WG, aside from giving back food to our community who needs it, we are also providing volunteer opportunities for our community. I'm gonna address, you know, when I was driving here, I said to Joy, I know one of the questions we always get is, well, how do you know the person needs the hamper? And my first answer to that is, I think anyone who asks for a hamper has great courage and vulnerability. And I admire and I applaud that. I say that we don't know what is going on in a person's life, and it's really not for us to know. We do ask people the reason they need the hamper, and that is for statistical reasons when we're applying for grants. We follow the Airdrie Food Bank policy. We do not ask for financial statements, neither does the Airdrie Food Bank. And we will continue to do that. All the work Angela and I, that's my, it's a nice tin.
Okay, I was like, is my mom calling right now?
Yeah. All the work that Angela and I do is 100% volunteer. So, so we do, just so you know, we do pickups on, Angela does Tuesday nights, I do Friday afternoons. We really are grateful for the town for the use of 1016 Chisholm Avenue. We did put in the notes exclusive. I want to clarify what that means is historically that space, we've used it year round, but the summer students have used it with the confidentiality that we need to respect of our people receiving. It would be better to have no one there but us, and that's it. We just need to respect the confidentiality. We do time all our pickups 30 minutes apart so they don't cross paths. And so far, so good. It is heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time. We have families as large as 8, and we have a lot of seniors in our community that are in need of food. So that's sort of where we're at. We have some fundraising ideas coming up.
We have lots of fundraising. We've developed a plan for the whole year. Some of it we've been gifted. So we have just been notified this week that we will be the recipients of this year's Chamber of Commerce annual charity golf tournament funds.
Excellent.
Which is, we're so grateful. The farmers markets, we are invited to all of them. We have a table, we have food donations, and the community is used to bringing food to the markets now. The Acts Society is auctioning off a table at their play next week on our behalf and is collecting food on our behalf as well. We were invited to the Skating Club Carnival. And let me tell you, if you haven't seen 3-year-olds dressed up as monkeys in tutus, it is worth your time. But they asked us to have a table there so that we could let the community know that we're here. And also quite a few people brought in food donations. We ran in February a hot chocolate with a heart festival, which we thought was a really fun way to launch the fundraising this year to build community spirit and just have something that was fun for the whole community to participate in. We also in the fall have a medieval dinner planned as a fundraiser. We will be attending the Pete Night Parade and hopefully with the approval of the Chamber of Commerce, collect food on the parade route. We plan an event for the Christmas train this year, and we have a corporate Hunger Games planned for the fall, so a corporate challenge. And as well, we are hoping to invite the Crossfield and Madden Fire Departments to compete in a softball game and barbecue event. So we have quite a few things planned. We really work hard to plan things that the community can be involved in to build community spirit. Some things that people can come out to, like the softball game, where even our hamper recipients can come and not have to spend a fortune to be there. So that was important to us as well, that the whole community gets to participate.
Wow.
Mhm. So we put a lot of thought into that. We do have a lot of need for money. We have to spend a lot to pay for our groceries right now. As the Airdrie Food Bank did mention to us, about 70% of all of the donations for the year come in at Christmas time, the time when people are very generous and giving with their money. And then you have to make the other 30% stretch throughout the year. And so we were mindful of that, and that is what we're working hard to do.
Excellent. Thank you for your presentation. I just want to reflect back on, kind of where you came from. So it was a program started by the Crossfield Fire Department 30 years ago.
Yeah, this Christmas.
Yeah, and they've carried this program for quite some
And
time.
they continue to.
So I'd like to say, that it's really nice that you guys have come along and you're going to have some more volunteers to help out. I know the fire department will continue to help, but it's nice that there's a bit of a transition there from them doing everything to them just helping when they can. So thank you for that. I also want to thank you guys, for your personal touches. Not every food bank or people and groups who do this have a personal touch like you two do. And I really appreciate that. I appreciate your hard work and what you do for a community. You're very caring, and Crossfield's lucky to have you. So thank you. I don't have any questions. The only comment I would make is I think that if council goes down this path, that admin will make a contract or a lease agreement or whatever that looks like that will be suitable for both the town and benefit you. We probably won't be using the word exclusive, but that's just my thoughts on that. Questions for the girls?
Mr. Chair,
Councillor Knight.
how would our incredible citizens be able to volunteer more often? What processes are required? Put your hand in the air, get a hold of somebody and say, hey, I'm gonna come help out I've got time this week or next week, or how are residents able to help out?
Thank you. Good question. We started developing a volunteer program last Christmas, and we logged about 1,500 volunteer hours, not including mine or Cheryl's, over the Christmas season last year. So we had 1,500 hours of volunteers coming. Two things come to mind. One is that through the school leadership program, I go in and speak to the classes in the fall about food security. At that point, the leadership classes do immediately come over to the hamper program and volunteer as a class with their teacher. So that's one of the ways that we get new volunteers. And actually somebody from that class last year has already said, I have turned 14. When can I start volunteering every week? So we're really, really pleased and touched by that. But anyone who wants to volunteer can reach out through our email, let us know they want to volunteer. And then anytime we have an opportunity that comes up, and we are building more and more opportunities in, so there are actually weekly opportunities now. I would send a mass email to all of the volunteers, say these are the upcoming postings. Please respond if it's something you're interested in participating in. No obligation, that people can volunteer once, they can come back every week. But because we have the building, because we're doing this on a weekly basis now, we are definitely having more and more opportunities for people to volunteer. And we actually have had 2 churches reach out to see if their youth groups can volunteer. So that's something we'll be arranging. Youth groups, youth programs in the community are always looking for meaningful ways for their kids to get involved. And so we're very pleased that we can be a hub for that.
Awesome. Thank you. Second question is, I know it was mentioned that it's quite difficult and, hard for people to reach out when they require a basket. How about from the town's residents? We've all got neighbors that we know that are struggling, that are older, that will not reach out. What processes could a person that lives in town recommend their neighbor for one of these hampers?
So we get that a lot. So it would be, it's a really good question. Let's say it was your neighbor. You would phone the phone number, which is 403-941-2000 and say, hey, Cheryl, my neighbor's in a lot of trouble. They really need help. Would you be able to help them? My response will be, absolutely, give me their name and their phone number. I will call them and talk to them, and I will not tell them who called. What I will not do, or we will not do, is say, okay, I'll build a hamper, you come pick it up and take it to them. We have to talk to the person. They have to own that. I can tell you, I've been doing the calls for the Christmas hamper for, I think, I'm gonna say 8 years now. And I have only ever had one person say no to a hamper in 8 years. So I'm pretty good at explaining the reasons, because a lot of people will say no to hampers because they think it's taking away from someone else. And it's part of explaining that this program is for everybody, right? And everybody has different reasons for needing a hamper at a different time. And so absolutely, it's a phone call, and we've had that happen, and we continue to have it happen. And, because Angela and I both grew up in the community of Crossfield, people know us. And now that they know what we're doing, it's not uncommon for me to get a message from someone saying, hey, Cheryl, I know this family, or hey, Cheryl, I really need this. I think one of the most humbling moments for me, this was when we were doing the COVID hampers with the town, is a person that I went to high school with phoned. And I was so shocked, and I'm like, really? In my brain, I was doing really. And I'm like, the person said to me, he said, you know what? I felt so much better knowing it was you and that I could phone you. And so sometimes we get the feedback too, well, okay, what if they know what's going on? We have very strict confidentiality guidelines. Really, the only people that know the hamper names are Angela and I, unless we're in a situation where it's a delivery, and then we pull in on the Crossville Fire Department to deliver.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
Yeah, through the chair, I do have one for you, Cheryl.
Yep.
So you mentioned one of the items you're having trouble getting a lot of times is pet food. Do you have any other key items as well that you're always having trouble getting?
So we do, and every month Angela is now developing a list of the month of what we are needing. Consistently we need flour, we need sugar, we need oatmeal, oats. I think, and this comes from the Airdrie Food Bank, we prioritize, we all love our animals, but we need to prioritize food for children first, and then their parents and their adults and our seniors, and then pet food. But it is amazing how many people want pet food and kitty litter. But so Angela can speak to where she puts the list.
Yeah, so if we are fortunate enough to have pet food or kitty litter donated to us, we're so happy to take it and to give it out. It's not something that we prioritize to purchase. And our lists every month are reevaluated. I go through our storage, I see what we have the most of and the least of, and I put together our wish list for the month. It goes out in the newsletters through the school every week of every month. We also post one in Carmen's Bigway bulletin board. They always put one up for us. And then moving forward, I just talked to Lindsay earlier, and we will be putting it in the town newsletter monthly as well. Yeah,
Okay.
and it goes up on our Facebook page as well, so people share it that way.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking items such as like diapers and stuff like that, because I know there's always a need for those. And
Actually, one of the things that we're finding we really, really need a lot of is personal hygiene items. It's one of our most requested things. So shampoo, hand lotion, deodorant, toothbrushes, toothpaste, those are always requested by nearly 100% of the people who come in. Because they're incredibly expensive items to purchase. So we're always looking for those, and we are reaching out. We're applying for grants, but we're also reaching out to companies. And actually, I just had a company rep call me back today and is going to donate toothbrushes moving forward. So things like that. So we're reaching out to Johnson and Johnson and other corporations to give back to the community.
We have started a pantry as you walk in the door. So when you come in to pick your hamper up, there's stuff there that maybe is a one-off that we wouldn't know what to put in the hamper. If we have kitty litter, we put it there and then we let them go through that sort of, if there's anything you need here, go ahead and take it. Some people do, some people don't. And going forward, I did want to address what the mayor said is that the Crossville Fire Department is still involved. And they will be more involved with the Christmas hampers, which will look the same but different next year. So.
Excellent, thank you. Just one more or two more things to add. Number one, I think that in any of these types of donations, cash is always king, cash or gift cards, because you guys have buying power that individuals don't. And you can purchase way more if you have gift cards or cash than the average person. So that's always king. And secondly, if you ever need assistance with your volunteer stuff, there's a program called Sign Up Genius that you can use. You just have to filter what your needs are. People can sign up on their own for the hours that you need and that type of thing. So that might help if you get overwhelmed with emails. You're welcome. Councilor Brennan.
Through the chair. Yeah, it sounds like you guys are going through a big, what would you call that? I can't remember the word for it. You're a big growing phase, like it's a big transitional period, which is awesome. It sounds super ambitious. I'm curious, how many towns do you know the average size of a town that starts to get a program this well built?
We do. So
Yeah.
we have taken the time, both of us, to look at the different towns and opportunities. Bicycle is a village. They have a food bank.
Like a full, Wow.
Yeah, it's run sort of in conjunction with Airdrie and Community Links. Arikana also has a food bank.
right?
Carstairs does not.
Hmm.
Carstairs, Didsbury, they all go to Olds.
Hmm.
And their food bank in Olds is much smaller in nature than what you would compare to the Airdrie food bank.
Right.
So we are a little bit ahead of some and a little bit behind some. So I think that I think we're going the right direction. I mean, we have people that have to make sure they have enough gas to pick their hamper up, let alone having had to drive to Airdrie.
Right.
So
Just in time. But thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Excellent work.
thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
your presentation. If that's all from council, then can I get a motion?
Through the chair.
Go ahead, Councilor Brennan.
I move that the Crossfield Hamper Program update be accepted as presented.
All in favor? Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
Don't forget to invite us again.
What's that?
Don't forget to invite council again for Christmas.
Oh, the invitations are in the mail.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, item 5.1, 2024 March Capital and Operating Recreation Board Funding Allocations, ARIS. Recreation and Events Coordinator. Oh, you're bringing the big guns with you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. On Monday, March 25th, the Crossfield Rec Board met to review and make recommendations for the spring funding stream. You have your forms there with recommendations on it. It is recommended that council make a motion to pass the recommendations as presented.
Excellent. Any questions for Eris? Great. There's no questions. Does somebody want to make a motion?
Through the chair,
Go ahead.
I'll make the motion that council approve the March 2024 spring capital and operating funding allocations as recommended by the Crossfield and District Recreation Board.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming.
Shortest presentation ever. Item 5.2, Intermunicipal Collaboration Framework, ICF Agreement. Director of Corporate Services, Lindsay Nash.
Good evening, Council. As council may be aware, the Municipal Government Act stipulates that municipalities that have a common boundary must create a framework with each other to provide for the integrated and strategic planning, delivery, and funding of intermunicipal services, allocate scarce resources, efficiencies, and providing local services, and ensuring municipalities contribute funding to services that benefit their residents. In alignment with this obligation, on March 6, 2020, the town of Crossfield and Rocky View County entered into an intermunicipal collaboration framework, ICF agreement, for a 4-year term. The existing agreement speaks to those areas emphasized above. However, specific service agreements noted within the agreement are separate documents that are negotiated and adopted independently. The current ICS agreement requires that the intermunicipal committee complete a review of the terms and conditions of the agreement at least once every 4 years. The intermunicipal committee met on March 1st and completed this review and updated the ICF agreement. And the agreement is being brought forward to council today for council's consideration. Administration is recommending that council approve the proposed ICF agreement between the town of Crossfield and Rocky View County, and further authorize the mayor and CAO to execute the agreement as presented.
Thank you, Director Nash. Just curious, so we've been in this agreement before. Has there been any changes between this agreement and the last one?
No.
Thank you. Questions for Director Nash? Okay, look at that. No questions for you, Lindsay. All right, if there's no questions or conversation, can I get a motion?
Through the chair, I'll make the motion that council approve the proposed ICF agreement between the town of Crossfield and Rocky View County, and further authorize the mayor and CAO to execute the agreement as presented.
Okay, all in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. Another record. Look at that. Okay, item 5.3, Highway 2A speed limit discussion on change to 80 kilometers. And Director Lindsay Nash, you're up again.
As council is aware, this item has been brought forward to the December 5th council meeting, as well as the February 6th, 2024 council meeting. Following the February council meeting, it was determined that the matter would be brought forward to the intermunicipal committee between the Rocky View County and the town of Crossfield to provide an opportunity for discussions between both parties. Any consideration to amendments to the speeds within the identified zone, as indicated by the province in their October 16th letter, will require the collaboration of both parties. And there is an excerpt from the minister's letter within the report. At the March 1st meeting, IMC meeting with Rocky View County, the Highway 2A speed limit was brought forward as presented to council at the December 5th council meeting. Consensus was that both parties would bring their items back to the respective councils for further discussion and debate, with the intent to seek a speed limit change between the town of Crossfield's north boundary to the Highway 2A to number 2 North 72 interchange, a consecutive 80 kilometer hours. During the discussion, it was also noted that as development occurs on east side of Highway 2A across within the town Crossfield boundaries, the applications at all development stages, including the area structure plan, subdivision, and redesignation, will be circulated to Rocky View County and Alberta Transportation and other agencies for comments. Typically prior to the approval of a subdivision, a pre-development planning or development meeting with Alberta Transportation and Economic Corridors may require the completion of a traffic impact assessment. And that traffic assessment is a tool that can be used to assess potential impacts of traffic generated by a proposed development to the surrounding transportation systems. So I did recommend a motion. I know there was some discussions and there's probably more further discussions. It's up to council how they wish to proceed forward.
Thanks, Director Nash. Questions?
Through the chair.
Councillor Knight.
Thanks, Lindsay. I think I made the motion at that last council meeting, and it was my mistake because I clarified what it was, but we kind of put together a motion in front of where it was. But I think the proposed speed limit right now that we're looking at from the areas of where they are, I think from what some of what council was looking for might have been misinterpreted, because I don't foresee personally myself wanting to change the 70 kilometer an hour all the way down to Trans-Canada where that transitions to 100 right now. I personally think that that's where that transit was supposed to be from 80 all the way around the bend where the 80 zone was. So is that an option that we can just make that amendment then versus that as a possible option?
Council can make a recommendation as to what they prefer. We do need to confirm with Rockview County needs to be on board. But as indicated in the letter from the Minister of Transportation, they would only make an amendment to the speed limit amendment to a continuous 80 kilometer hours, combining the existing 70, 180 kilometers. So that's what the Alberta Transportation is recommending. So.
Okay, so in understanding that we have to work with Rocky View, we could still potentially put together a motion
Mhm.
that could be, okay, thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, so really it's just if we put together that motion, it's having those conversations with Rocky View and back with the province.
Yep.
To see if the province will say, you know what, we haven't really looked at it that way. Let's have another look at it, and maybe they'll say, that's good. Or maybe they'll
Potentially,
come
yeah.
back to us and say,
Yeah.
we're not bending.
Yeah, because the original motion, I believe council submitted prior to December was to consider looking at changing to a consistent speed. Council at that time didn't make a recommendation on a preferred speed, just
Yeah.
a recommended consistent speed. So
That's right. Yeah. Right, I'm pretty sure we said though from the south side of
Then-
Crossfield, not the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then they, yeah. then
and they
came
added a
back-
piece.
yeah.
Further discussion?
So to clarify, we only want from where it starts to 80 to change the 100 zone to 80. So it's consistent until it gets to 70 and 70 stays at 70 through the 2A. Both
Through town.
north and south. Yeah.
Yeah, through town.
Okay.
We want it to stay at 70. And then we want it, the 80 or the 100 to change to 80 all the way to where they have 60 to the approach to the highway.
Right. Just that.
Just
The
that little
curve.
piece, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
If there's no further discussion or questions, council can make a motion, either one that is proposed or a different one.
Wait, sorry, just one more comment. And I just want to reiterate the point behind all of this was because of that 100-kilometer-an-hour zone and some frustration besides that, but it's the safety of the other vehicles trying to merge into that Range Road 11, as they call it here. Right? Like,
Yeah,
there's
so
some
we
concern
did,
there.
we did receive a letter from a resident.
Yeah,
We've also had several accidents at that intersection, that T
Dixon.
intersection from Dixon to the 2A that has resulted in accidents and or deaths. And it's just trying to mitigate some of that. That and some of the confusion too for drivers
yeah,
as they drive that road from the highway in.
perfect. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that it was all perfect.
Hey, anybody want to make a motion?
The chair,
Counselor Knight,
I'll make a motion that council supports the speed limit amendment at the 100-kilometer-an-hour zone. Sorry, reducing the 100-kilometer-an-hour zone at southbound northbound of town to a 80-kilometer-an-hour zone on Highway 2 to continuous to the 60-kilometer-an-hour zone. Does that work, Lindsay?
Human autocorrect.
so you want it to be 70 through town,
Yeah.
change to the 80 where it says 100 and go all the way to the approach at 60 to QE2.
Correct.
Right. So, oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right one.
We'll just wait for Lindsay and we'll have her read it back.
Yeah.
And then,
Then we'll add the support comment after the bypass.
This map
Yeah.
would be so much simpler.
So I just have tried to explain it in the email last night. And
That's the
Yeah.
picture. That's nice.
I know, and then you sent the picture, I'm like, that's exactly what I was trying to say last night.
All right, go ahead.
To the chair, the proposed motion I have is that, moved by Councillor Knight, that council support a speed limit amendment to a continuous 80 km/h on Highway 2A from the town's south town boundaries to Highway 2A interchange.
Yeah,
And that
And that a copy be
of
sub- letters.
letter be submitted to Rocky View County, Alberta, Transportation and Economic
Yep.
Corridors. Yep.
Through the chair, does that need to say going north and south?
we could add
I
that.
think we should, because the way it's reading right now.
It's the one way.
It's one way.
Yeah, are you okay with that amendment,
100%.
Councillor Knight?
Okay.
Okay. So we'll add that. All right, everybody understand the motion? We're good? Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Anyone opposed? Nope. Good to go. Thank you. Okay, council report. I've had my regular meetings with the CAO every Thursday morning. And I also was lucky enough to open up the career fair last week, which was really fantastic. I enjoyed it. Deputy Mayor Vang,
I have nothing to report.
Councillor Brennan.
I also attended that career fair. It was fantastic. I stuck around for the majority of it till about noon. It was very well attended. From what I understand, I mean, there wasn't a lot of familiar faces there anymore, but there was schools coming from everywhere, and people seemed to get a lot out of it. So very well done. Glad to see it.
Councillor Fox.
I had my recreation board last Monday on March 25th for the spring. And this Saturday, we'll be doing our council retreat.
That's right, council retreat on Saturday. I guess I was at the recreation board one too. Councillor Gustafson.
Nothing further report.
Councillor Knight.
We held our March monthly Mountain View Regional Water Commission meeting on March the 20th. We're working on finalizing some of the budget information from last year, but one thing that we'll note to the town is runoff's begun now, so you'll start seeing some treatment here of the water for the next 4 to 6 weeks as that continues, which is standard for most years. We also held a drought commission meeting on March the 27th, discussing with the Red Deer mugs coming through with the Alberta government. Where there's some policies being drafted together on how municipalities can align to similar policies to help adhere possible droughts in the future, but nothing's been committed to, but they are working on it right now, engaging with the government of Alberta. So that's all I got for now.
Just a question on that, Mike. Will there be an effect on or water licensing for the Red Deer Basin in
Nope.
regards to the rest of the province?
No, our water licensing will not be in effect. What the goal of the overall thing, the goal of this group conversation would be how each town could look at potentially how some towns already have these policies in place, whether it's watering on odd and even days, possibly finding ways in businesses that are higher usages to potentially try different functions to make their business more profitable. As it stands, there's not even from a temporary licensing water of these, the temporary water licenses are not even in the realm yet of being removed. So this is, I think, trying to align towns, communities, water commissions with similar policies that can phone up. But I think some towns are already past this. I think this is just trying to find a finger in the air about where everyone stands and try to continue to build good policies in regards to water.
Okay, so you don't see the government trying interbasin transfers?
As we've seen from any information from the government of Alberta to the Water Commission so far has been no. Now, knowing the Water Commission, where we live in our water basin, we're only utilizing 56% of our license. So there's been no conversation of reducing that. So the Water Commission is still looking at ways that we can be viable going forward, but also with expansion to make sure that our water is safe, secure, and also affordable.
Excellent. Thank you.
Well said.
Counselor Lambert.
I attended a MPC meeting on March the 22nd in regards to a residential easement, and otherwise nothing.
Thank you. Okay, can I get a motion, please?
Through the chair,
Go ahead, Counselor Brennan.
move that the council reports be accepted as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, Department Director updates. Director of Community and Protective Services, Russ Nash. And it looks like you need to stay seated for the next one too.
Thank you, Mayor Harris. Good evening, council. So my monthly update is before you. I'll touch on a few highlights for you. We have been approved for a couple different grants here that you'll see. The Fire Services Training Program grant for $9,447. And we are also approved for the Northern and Regional Economic Development Program grant to assist with some economic development initiatives for $41,000. So some good news there. We are still waiting for the volunteer appreciation, or sorry, the National Volunteer Week Enhancement Fund grant to help with volunteer appreciation initiatives. Starting in April here, we have a new program being started called the TGIFF, or Thank Goodness It's Friend Friday. That'll run every Friday for about 6 weeks or so, 7 weeks. We've hired all of our summer recreation and parks students. Those positions are all filled up. We have finalized the exchange of our leased parks equipment. The new stuff will be here on April 29th. Interviews are being completed for the new Parks and Facilities Operator 2 position. Some capital project updates. The park sign replacement programs, drawings and specifications are just being finalized. And once we receive those, they'll be put out for costing. Western Drive Dog Park upgrades. We are requesting quotes for fencing right now. The active transportation plan is under review right now. Administration is reviewing the draft plan. At the arena, Simcoe shut the ice plant down on Monday, March 25th. Pad cleanup is taking place right now. Lacrosse is scheduled to start up in April, and interviews will be taking place in early April here for the arena supervisor position. And we had a minor case of incident with that involves some vandalism of town-owned property that Police Officer Stevens investigated and was successful in finding those responsible to remediate that problem. With the fire department, the AFRAX radio upgrade or changeover is underway. The radios have been ordered. Unfortunately, we do have a delay in the new radios or receiving the new radios due to a shortage in some mineral that's required in the chips. They are expected to be here toward the end of May. And with the replacement of the fire engine, we are working on some alternative plans. Unfortunately, the original plan fell through with the truck that we were going to be getting. But we are looking at alternative plans to address that situation. And lastly, we did have some of our staff attend an ICS 200 course with the Rocky View County. And we had our annual emergency management plan program review with the Alberta Emergency Management Agency. So that's that.
Thanks for us. Questions for Director Nash? Well, you guys are on a roll tonight. Good job. Yeah. Okay, on to the next one.
All right, thank you. Yes, I've got the Director of Operations report here. Just to touch on a few items for this one. Interviews are currently being completed for the development officer position. In the operations department, the heavy duty mechanic / operator position has been filled. They've already started on several repairs to several pieces of equipment. The auxiliary pump was replaced on the street sweeper by the new mechanic, and it is now ready to go for spring street sweeping. I believe they were actually out today. I saw them out. Some capital project updates, the single purpose transformation of the single purpose vehicle into multi-purpose. Much of the new attachments are ready to go. And as soon as we kind of get out of this snow season we got going on, the new mechanic will be taking, dismantling the truck to get it ready for the new pieces of equipment. The landscape rake attachment has been received. The aerial man lift has been ordered. It's still a few weeks away from being delivered to us. And the Westgate Estates fence has not started yet, but we will get started on planning that over the next few weeks once the weather starts to turn for the better. The wastewater feasibility study is scheduled to be presented at the April 16th council meeting. Some of the capital projects in this area, the turbidity monitor, it has arrived. Just waiting on some server updates to be completed, and then it'll be installed following that. And as was reported last month, the wastewater main replacement evaluation update will take place as soon as warmer weather comes about. And following that, then we'll have a better idea of the wastewater main upgrades that will need to take place. So that's that one.
Great, thanks, Director Nash. Any questions?
Through the chair. Russ, if you go back to under the sidewalk replacement annual.
Mhm.
I just have a question. So some of the new sidewalks on Main Street already have cracks, and they had cracks within the first year of being put in. Do we get any kind of warranty for those ones, or do they have to come out of our budget for repair?
Off the top of my head, I don't really have an answer for you. I don't know if CAO Barney.
Where are these? Sorry.
Main Street.
Railway Street,
Oh.
sorry, I Main Street.
Right.
Because some of the sidewalks are cracked, and they have been marked, so they've gone along with spray paint marked. They know they're cracked, but nothing was done to repair them.
Just to add to that before you answer, CEO Bernie, would that include the shifting of the blocks that are on the bulbs on Main Street too? On the jet oats there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Mm.
Pavers, yeah.
Yeah, through the chair, unfortunately, I don't have anything significant, any additional insight to add there at this point, but it is something we can definitely look into and look at what the contracts are that are in place and what the timelines look like from a warranty perspective, and ensure that if there is a mechanism for us to recover or access funding through alternative means to address those problems, we will. Otherwise, they would form part of our capital plan for sidewalk repairs, but we'll definitely confirm that and follow up with council.
Okay, further to that, so Russ and Kansas, you're both aware. So they did come in the fall and they cut sections of the sidewalk. And it was late in the fall and then just kind of got left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, through the chair, we could follow up with the contractor as well, just to see maybe they ran out of time prior to freeze up to get those poured or replaced. So
Yeah.
We'll see what their plans are for the spring here to get them replaced.
Okay.
I
Yeah, it's
imagine
just
if
nice
they-
If it was under warranty versus coming out of our budget
Yeah.
for.
If they did come in and cut them and painted them and had what looks to be plans to replace them, I imagine that should still be taking place.
Yeah,
But
okay.
we can follow up.
Excellent. Anything further? All right. If not, can I get a motion?
One more report.
That's 3.
2.
And then we have 7.2. Is that under 7.1? Outstanding items list?
No, don't we have Lindsay's report, so?
Oh, sorry, Lindsay. You were up so many times, I just didn't know. Thanks, Counselor Knight. Director of Corporate Services, sorry.
Mine's quick. Again, our girls up front are busy processing permits and utility bills. Due to timing conflicts, with the 2024 municipal taxes and census, we've had to push back the implementation of our eGov module to about mid-July, just so we can ensure that we have enough resources to do the implementation. Census work, the municipal census work continues. We've hired 5 census enumerators, and background organization continues with SHIA training today. We're finalizing the census questions, printing off door hangers, creating the addressing list, et cetera. It's kind of a lot of behind the scenes stuff still going on. March has seen a decrease in the interaction with the citizens from 474 in February to 416 in March. But we've seen an increase in the administrative requests at 53% for the month of March. On March 25th, we sent out the 5th and final notices for the remaining 36 resident properties that have not completed their water meter changeout. And these properties who do not proceed with their water meter replacement by May 31st may be given a 48-hour notice for water shutoff. We're trying to make this a push to get everybody meters changed out. And we've also started our commercial census meter change out. For financial updates, for 2024 tax arrears list has been posted with a copy sent to Alberta Land Titles. There was 1 property and 2 designated manufactured homes on this year's list. The list is compared. This is compared to 8 properties and 1 designated manufactured home in 2023. There is 1 new 3-year agreement between the town of Crossfield and a taxpayer in tax recovery. So we're working on that. And the list of new businesses as of February, we have 2 new businesses and 1 new home occupation permit. And that's it for me.
Lindsay, I was just curious, on your types of requests received, what would some examples be of what administration requests are? In your whole gray area on the pie chart.
That ranges, I'd have to look it up. I don't know off the top of my head. I think that ranges from like hall inquiries, cemetery inquiries, could be even utility inquiries, payments. Am I going down the right path with that?
Yeah, CO Barney, if you have something to add, that'd be great.
Through the chair, I just have access to a computer in front of me. That's the only reason why I have the answer. So it includes things like business licenses, dog licenses, garbage and recycling complaints, any inquiries about hall booking, cemetery inquiries, accounts payable, accounts receivable, any assistance with the website, utility setups, tax certificates, and any inquiries related to the TIPS program.
Excellent.
Falls under administration.
Good to know. Thank you. All right, any more questions for Director Nash? Okay, now can I get a motion?
Through the chair,
Go ahead.
I move that the department director updates be accepted as presented.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, moving on to item 7.2, outstanding items list.
Thank you, Mayor Harris. I will touch base on this item briefly. Nothing significant to update on this one, but there are 2 items that were classified as being due in Q1 of 2024. One being the street pole banner policy. We had 1 minor piece that we had to confirm on that end. The item is ready to come before council, but in light of that, we delayed it to April 16th just to verify that 1 component. So technically that would fall in Q2 at this point. And the leasing of town facilities and land policy is still under development, but we would like to request the movement of that into Q2 as well.
Okay, fair enough. Just on the banner policy, I know that the Legion is already advertising that the town's helping them out. Just thought I'd let everybody aware of that.
What's wrong with that?
All right, any questions for CO Barney on the outstanding action list?
More of a comment through the chair. It's nice to see that the boxes are getting smaller. So it's just coming down.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, nice job.
All right. And can I get a motion then?
Through the chair,
Go ahead, Counselor Knight.
I motion that items 010 street pole banner policy and 006 leasing of town facilities and land policies be extended from Q1 2024 to Q2 2024.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, we have no correspondence and you can go to the Town of Crossfield website to see the upcoming events and programs. And that's the end of the meeting.
Through the chair,
Go ahead.
Counselor Bay,
I'll make the motion to adjourn then.
excellent. Thank you.
8 o'clock.
Ooh, look at that.